through life. All that is required is that you take one step at a time. Though hard it may be at times, each day, be committed to show up strong. Some days your strength can look different to other days. Just know this, that whenever you're at your worst, try to look your best. Dress up and face the world. That's the first step towards moving forward. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step. Lao Tzu.
Hey guys, we are back for another inspiring episode of the One Step Podcast. I'm Dr. Jozelle Miller here in beautiful St. Vincent, and I am enjoying the ambience of the Sunset Shores Beach Hotel. I know some of you might be new to this platform, and I just want to let you know that One Step is pretty much about encouraging persons to take that next step in life. Never give up. We know we have many challenges. There are many circumstances that sometimes would allow us to feel as if we don't want to try. We don't want to get out of bed. We don't want to make the decisions to move. But guess what? There is always a solution to every problem. Someone said that to me a while ago, and I have to smile because it's actually true. And today, I want to feature another stimulating, encouraging story. And I'm super excited. You know why? Because she's not just a friend, she's a sister, she's my past classmate, and I want to encourage every person. And this is it. If you have an interest in military life, we know a lot of Vincentians are eager to get out, either to go into the British Army or the Navy, or to go to the USA and to do the same. If you are interested in finding out what that story looks like, you need to be here. I want to encourage you now. Call your family, call your friends, whomever, and just simply get in front of your device, be it on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're looking at this, and be a part of this conversation, because the fabulous, fabulous Shanette, I know her as Louie, but we'll say Robinson. But Shanette is here, and she's going to be sharing her story in a while. We're going to take a quick break here just to big up our sponsors once again, and then we'll get right into this interview that is going to definitely make you smile and make you feel encouraged.
At the Vallejo Experience, your total wellness is our concern. We offer professional counseling for a variety of life's personal and corporate challenges, including grief, bereavement, and post-traumatic stress. Our corporate packages also include competitive coping strategies, individual and group dynamics, professional development, and retreats. Perhaps you just need a wellness assessment or some help understanding who you are to restore your emotional balance. Whatever your emotional needs, remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Take that step with the Vallejo Experience. Talk to a specialist today. Call us at 1-784-498-7772 or visit our website at www.vallejoexperience.com.
Are you ready to create your bounce back effect? Are you don't miss it.
So we are back, and today our special guest is Miss Shanette Louie or Robinson, depending on when you knew her. when you first met her. So if you're a convent girl, and I want to call all my convent sisters, you need to come in here and hear this story. Okay, so you remember her as Shanette Louis. I remember her as a vibrant young lady who has a voice, and maybe she can sing us a line today, who knows. But she has a beautiful voice. She was an athlete.
Yeah.
She was very studious, very quiet. But I'm going to introduce you now to my guest and ask her, please tell us a bit about yourself from the start.
Okay, good day, everyone. I am Shanette Louis, known to most,
Yes.
Robinson, my father's last name. So I am from Layou. I attended the St. Mary's Roman Catholic School, and then I moved on to St. Joseph's Convent, where I was part of St. Joseph's House, run track and field at St. Joseph's House. One of my favorite teachers there was Dr. De Silva.
Yes.
Was my favorite teacher, even though I learned nothing in her Spanish class. Then I moved on to community college, went to school there for a while, and then I moved on to the United States. And once I got to the US, it wasn't really my vibe of what I've seen on television. So I saw an Army commercial and I joined the military. Be all you could be. And I went to the Yellow Pages, called the recruiting station, and the rest is history, right? I'm here.
So before we get to history, let us backtrack. So in convent, then you went to grammar school, community college. Was it ever on your scope, ever in your mind that you wanted to be in the military?
No.
What was your initial plan for your life?
I will say the military was not part of my initial plan. I wanted to be a teacher or something to that extent.
Okay.
But then because of Mrs. De Silva, what I'd seen her,
Yeah.
to me, she was just a positive role model in the field of teaching. And that's what I wanted to do. But I always knew that I wanted something bigger and something more for my life. I was not going to be comfortable there, but to be in the military was not ever part of my dreams of where I see myself going in the future. So it happened.
So what was the process? You went into the Yellow Pages, you saw the number, you called, and then what were the steps?
So I went to America legally. I think for me the struggle was getting there away from what I was comfortable with. So for me, now that I'm more mature, I was in a very uncomfortable situation, which I didn't understand. The process that life don't always go back to how it was when you leave your comforts. And so I didn't like it. And if you were not going to send me back home, I was going to do something.
Yeah.
And I saw the commercial one day. I was watching BT. I remember specifically it was a Monday morning. And then this commercial came on with people, dropping out of the helicopters, sliding down the ropes and all this cool stuff. And it says, be all you can be. I saw that. And I said, hey. I went to the Yellow Pages to find a recruiting station, which was about 12 blocks away. And I called. The recruiter told me to come in. I went, and the rest is history. The beauty about it is that I had finished high school in St. Vincent, so my high school credits were more than, it was equivalent to a high school diploma in the United States. With my college when they did the translation and everything, the transcript, evaluations, and then I was able to join the Army, because at the time you could have only joined the Army with a high school diploma, not a GED.
Okay.
Over time it changed where, based on requirements and retention numbers, they lowered the standards to a GED. But at the time when I joined, you have to have a high school diploma, and I didn't attend high school in America. So an evaluation of my transcripts was done, and I had more than a high school diploma, and I was able to just join the U.S. Army. And I just went 3 months after being in the U.S. I didn't wait.
Okay, 3 months being in the U.S. You said something a while ago that there was a bit of discomfort. And usually when persons leave these shores and you go into a situation where you're uncomfortable, the first thing, let me go home. I can't do this, I don't want to do this. But you decided that I'm already there, you're there, so let's make the best of that situation.
Yes.
And that's quite commendable. When you went into the whole process and you got in, were you intimidated? Were you scared? What was the feeling you had at that time?
I won't say I was scared about being in the military. I think for me, it's you come across different people from different cultural backgrounds, different diversities, and you're dealing with young people your age who have never met someone with an accent like mine at the time,
Yeah.
which was much deeper, right? More dialect. And so it was still uncomfortable in that situation because people make fun. And as I get older, I realize if you never travel the world, you're ignorant towards another person's culture.
Yes.
And not knowing that a lot of us are from different cultural diversities. And so the military is a melting pot of so many different cultures that you have to take the time to understand each person that you come across, because we all bring something different, which makes it so unique.
And how long have you been in the military now?
I have been in the military for 21 years.
21 years. So basically you grew up in the military.
Yes.
So there would have been a lot of lessons, a lot of different things that you encountered.
Yeah.
And please to tell everyone listening that you are at one of the highest ranks in the U.S. military,
Yes.
and that's Sergeant Major.
Yes. So once you're fully eligible or fully qualified for promotion, so in the United States Army, there's 1% of the population that are soldiers, and then are of military life and service. And then for us to make it to this level, it's less than 1% of soldiers have the opportunity or are blessed to make it to the Sergeant Major's Academy. So I think it's more mentally and emotionally taxing than physically taxing. I can just say that on my behalf, from my experience. On the other hand, you're trained to critically think at the strategic level, because that's where you're needed at that level. And so you make it through the 10 months, you graduate, you successfully graduate the course, you have to, and then you move on to whatever assignment the Army has for you to move to, whether it's somewhere in the United States, whether it's in Korea, whether it's in Italy, where I'm going to,
Yeah.
and you're put in those assignments. Mind you, while you're in those assignments, they're not just for you to go and chill. You have a job to do. And so you have to be the best at your job,
Yeah.
and because you're entrusted with that role. You know, a guest speaker said to us one day, you're not anointed, you're appointed.
Ah.
And so when you're put into those leadership roles, you are expected to understand that the decisions that you make, it impacts your formation, but not that it just impacts your formation. It impacts those family members of those soldiers too,
Right.
that you are entrusted to lead. So
Yeah.
that's
a
where
very big responsibility. And we understand, being in the Army, obviously, persons are coming with their own fears, their own insecurities, and all of these things. And you being a woman from the Caribbean, a black woman making it all the way up the ranks, I am sure there were many challenges. And we want to go into those challenges a little bit. But we're going to pause again just to big up our sponsors and to remind persons of this beautiful ambience that where we are at, the Sunset Shores Beach Hotel. If you are in St. Vincent or planning to visit, please make Sunset Shores your option for accommodation.
Attention all business owners. Are you tired of ineffective marketing strategies? Look no further. CG Productions is here to revolutionize your marketing game. We offer quality flyers, promotional videos, audio production, and other marketing materials that will set you apart from the competition. Say goodbye to mediocre marketing and hello to stunning, professional materials that will capture your audience's attention. Visit us online today at CG Productions to see what we can do for your business. Quality marketing materials, guaranteed. CG Productions, your marketing solution.
Remember, we set up and you just show up. Make your next picnic a luxury picnic.
Major Shanette Robinson, my girl. And she has been saying to us pretty much that it was not an easy journey moving from the start to where you are now. And I am interested to find out what would have been some of your major hurdles or challenges, and more so, how did you overcome them?
Okay. In anything that you choose to do, you always will face challenges. I always say, two of my biggest challenges being in the military is that I'm a woman, even though some people might not perceive that to be a challenge, and that I'm an immigrant
Yeah.
in a country that is now my home. Um, but at the same token, based on experiences that I've had in the military, it has provided challenges for me. For example, one situation that I've experienced that has been the toughest for me, and over time it has become better through counseling and prayers, is the death of a soldier who,
Yeah.
the day prior, 6 days on arrival to Afghanistan, I actually helped that soldier set up her room, and I told her that I will take her to the store tomorrow when we get off a bit earlier. She was not my personal soldier, but as a leader, every soldier is your responsibility. And I came home that day because I work in the aid station, which is the medical facility in Bagram, Afghanistan. And I'm making my bed, and I heard a pop. It was about 2 o'clock that day, military time, 1400 hours.
Yeah.
And I heard a pop. And I just thought, on arrival, you get mortared, right? They fire all these RPGs, rocket-propelled grenades on the base. And I'm like, oh, that one is pretty close. So I thought nothing of it because it's a regular occurrence. And then I heard a person started coughing, and the cough gradually get worse, progressively just got worse and worse. And then I stopped what I was doing, and I said, that person have a really bad cold. They need to see the doctor. And then it went completely silent. The next day, fast forwarding, her supervisor that morning was knocking on her door, and I was leaving for work. And I asked, what are you doing? And she asked me, did I see her? I said, no. I started to ask questions. I said, well, let me try her, and called her. I took a number, I called, I text, and I identified myself. I said, let me know where you are. I'll come to you. No response. I said, nah, this isn't cool. She would have answered me. And we did a series of things, try to look through the window of the buildings that we stayed in. And then as I went back to my room, I said, I have to go. I distinctively hear a voice said, look one more time.
Yeah.
And as I walked back, her supervisor was getting upset. I said, you know, maybe something is wrong with her. You don't need to get mad. But I'm going to look one last time because I have to go. And as I pushed the window, I saw blood.
Oh, wow.
And at the same window that I looked through prior and saw nothing. And we finally were able to break the window, got in the room, and she's there laying face down, but the top part of her body is lifted, and she had no socks on. She still had her pants on, t-shirt tucked in. I felt for a pulse on her feet, her distal pulse. There was nothing, but her feet was cold. And in my mind, okay, it's just the AC, because you don't want anything to be wrong. Then this hand was back, and I felt for a pulse, a radial pulse, and there was nothing. And then I felt for a carotid pulse, and there was nothing. And as I'm going to feel for a heartbeat, I rolled over because the way she was positioned, and I saw her heart open like a flower was blooming. And
What?
yeah, and that she just looked as if she was asleep. And I got up, I stand up, and her weapon, through all the chaos, her weapon was perfectly laid, muzzle towards the head of my bed, the way the rooms were positioned, and there was a trash bag filled with towels and blood. It was just a lot. Mind you, that was not the first time, and then I heard a voice said, because a doctor had walked in the room, and he said, she's dead. I knew she was, but I guess I didn't want to believe it.
Yeah.
Mind you, that was not the first time I've seen a dead person, right, in a combat zone. But this was the first time that I've experienced something that close up. And that is somebody's child. She's so young. And what's going to happen when her parents get the news? I think that was the most heartbreaking part for me.
Yeah.
It was difficult for me to process. I hate touching walls. But I think what helped get me through that period of time, her friends, when they land in country, her body was already sent back to the States because we did the ramp ceremony that night. Every night I would hear a knock on my door. And when I opened it, it was her friends. And what do you want? Nothing, but they'll be there with their sleeping bags and stuff. You want to come in? They'll say, yeah. And then over time, I had about 10 girls sleeping in my room every single night for the first 3 months we were in Afghanistan.
Wow.
I think while it might have been safety for them because they knew, oh, she found her, it was comfort to me and maybe helped me recover quicker than being in the room where I was. That was one of the most challenging things to me because that is something that you cannot reverse. So I think whatever else I've experienced is nothing compared to that.
So
that
what about
situation.
the consciousness of your own life? Because being in the army, there are going to be times, I'm sure, when you're placed out front or placed in scenarios that may be unsafe. How do you deal with that? How do you prep mentally and emotionally for, what can go wrong? Because our minds always go to the worst case scenarios.
I think everything in life, right, there's a fear to it, but I don't, I think for me personally, I don't think I've ever really processed the fear behind what I do. Because in my case, I have soldiers, right? I've experienced stuff where a leader might break down and that leader cried based on whatever masculine situation that we have, with whatever amount of patience that we have. And that soldier will not want to go with that leader who breaks down and cry. Because to them, that's fair. Can you protect me? And so when you're in those leadership roles, I think you forget about who you are. Like parents sometimes, especially mom, forget about
So you have to be strong.
when it comes to their children, how it is.
Yeah.
As a leader in the military, you have so many different roles. Your mom today, your sister tomorrow, your auntie, your counselor. You're so many different things. And I think the first priority is to protect the soldiers that are with you.
Yeah.
In every situation that we encounter, there's so many stuff that we have encountered while we are out there, but I think the first thing is that you want to make sure that your soldiers is okay, their well-being is okay, before you ever think about yourself.
But when do you get to the point of thinking about you, and how do you manage you and your emotions and all the things going on with you?
True statement, right? As leaders, right, and like our parents do, we neglect ourselves. But at some point in time, I call it PMCS, right? You need to do some preventative maintenance check on yourself to make sure that
So
you're
that's
okay.
again PMCS?
Yes. So you do some preventative maintenance checks, right? So
Okay.
we want to make sure that we do those checks. You see a counselor.
Okay.
You find time for you, some me time, some self-care. You read your Bible. You introduce prayer into your life. You find time and make time for God.
Right.
Because no way can you do something like this and don't have a balance. Everyone have their own beliefs and what they beliefs are. I just focus mine on what I know as a child. So in everything that you do, you got to find some time for you to reset. And it's not every day you're going to be okay. Every day not going to be perfect, but you have to find that balance where you have to go and say, hey, I'm not okay today.
Yeah. So I know, and most of our convent girls who follow Shanette on social media, one of the things that Shanette is good at, decorating, fashion, and shoes. I remember one time I sent her a message and I said, I'm going to come where you are and I'm going to raid your closet. So that is one of your way of coping, of releasing as well? So you like shopping?
I do like shopping, but lately I find this new thing called shopping my closet.
Shopping your closet.
closet. There's so much stuff you have in your back of your closet that you don't realize you have.
That is true.
That you can do
That is
something
true.
with, right?
Uh-huh.
And every time I move in the military, I realize, wait, I had this back there that I can always wear. So I find interest in doing that. But for me, decorating, I'm so introverted. That's where I find my energy and my peace.
Yeah.
To just put things nicely. And so people always say, oh, she's OCD. I don't think I'm OCD. I just like stuff in place.
Yeah.
But I just love to decorate. And I think that's to me where that's where I find some of my peace.
Okay.
So if you can find something that relaxes you, that takes your mind away, that you find your peace and you find your center, you focus on those things. And that's what I tend to do.
Okay. One of the things that seems to be quite glamorous for a lot of persons going into the military, you know, I hear persons say, oh, we'll travel a lot, we'll go all over the world, and that's what they look forward to. So tell us, how many places have you been so far? Can you even count?
Look, being in the military is not a vacation. Okay?
Say that again. Make sure they're hearing that. It is not a vacation.
It is not a vacation. You hear the commercials, yes, right? You see it. You do get to move around a lot, but I've had some friends who have never moved outside of the United States. They did their entire career in the United States. Some of us are blessed to have assignments in places like Germany, which I've done, Italy. I've spent 10 years of my career in Europe, between Germany and Italy. So I've just been blessed to have that opportunity. But yeah, you do get some places to go to, as in terms of Iraq, Afghanistan. Depends. Nice vacation.
Afghanistan, oh, I'm not sure about the vacation there, but okay. So, with moving, with all of the different steps that you have taken, you know, as a woman, a Caribbean woman, one of the things we always hear growing up is that, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have children? And I'm wondering whether the military would have impacted that somewhat. But we're not going to get into that just yet. We're going to take another break and then come back for the juicy stuff, because we're going to talk about the love life a little bit.
Remember, we set up and you just show up. Make your next picnic a luxury picnic.
Need quality audio productions for your business, brand, or event? What about top quality flyers to help your business stand out on social media? You can now get both for affordable prices to fit your budget. Call 1784-534-4605 or follow us on Facebook. CG Production, Simple Solution.
Are you ready to create your bounce back effect? Are you tired of the chains holding you down? Are you ready to go to your next level? Join me, Dr. Arusha Campbell Chambers, at the Unstock Conference on Saturday, August 12th at Sunset Shores Hotel. I will be speaking to you about being made for more. You are made in God's image and likeness. You are made to dominate over your circumstances. See you there. Don't miss it.
She left her as Shanette, the athlete, the quiet one, the songbird. Now she is Shanette, Sergeant Major, at one of the highest ranks in the U.S. military. Leadership at its best, with style, with grace, with elegance. And right now, we want to ask Shanette, how has this position, this move in your life, some might say it robbed you. Some might say that, she's all about career. She's not really concerned about family. What would you say in response to something like that?
I'll say you're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. I think everybody life take a different part, right? And so if your path is about family and that's what you want, that's what you want. So I think God has a purpose and a plan for all of our lives, and our lives are going to take that part. Could I have done some things differently? Of course.
Yeah.
I could have. But will I settle? No, I will not. And so, can life do turn the other way or change or get to the part where I'm settled and married? Yes, it can, but I don't want to settle.
Tell us what it means to settle.
I don't want to be with someone just because to have someone.
Yeah.
I have a saying that your reputation is who you are. But what you show on the surface, your character, is what you want people to believe about you.
Yeah.
I think you start to know the true person once you're behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Right? It's like peeling the onion back.
Yeah.
And then your eyes start to water. And you're like, I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah.
Because people are fake. They have their ulterior motives. And they want what they want for their benefit. And if they don't get that, then you start seeing the true person.
Right.
And so I wouldn't say I am not perfect in no way, shape, or form. But I said, as a woman, I have to be able to stand on my 2 feet, not disrespecting anyone, but holding my own and speak truth to power.
course.
A lot of men don't like truth.
I like that. Say truth with power. One of the things that we hear as career women, as independent, strong women, is this term intimidated. That persons always tend to think that, oh, maybe you're intimidating the guys. Maybe you're, what do you say in response to that?
I don't think it's intimidation. I think when you come into somebody's space, you got to be able to hold your own, right?
Speak it again, girl.
If you know you that man, you are that man, right?
Yeah.
It's so, it doesn't matter how high I get. I truly believe in this, that, well, I won't say truly believe in it, but it's to believe that he should lead, right? That man should lead. It doesn't matter how much more money I make than that person, but when we step out the door, just remember that I got your back 24/7. But if you're intimidated, if you want to be seen with me in public based on status,
Yeah.
but then behind closed doors you can't deal with me, the problem doesn't lie with me. The
Nope.
problem lies with you.
Yeah.
And then over time, whatever manipulation tactics that you choose to use, whatever lies you choose to tell for your benefit, it might feel good to you in the moment, but will it benefit you in the long run?
Right.
Because in the long run, that person will always find out your true motives and who you are, and never look at you as that same person over time.
Yeah.
So I do believe in true to myself, value myself as a woman, and respect myself as a woman. And I don't want to be seen with anyone based on status or position, but know that I have value and worth, and it's
Value, yes,
treasured
yeah.
by you. And as a woman, it doesn't matter how old you are. Once you know your worth, and you respect yourself when you look in the mirror, and you start to become that whole person, nothing, no manipulative tactics, nothing a person have will work. It will work for a little while, but once you sit back and you start to do some reflection, you'll
Yeah.
see that's not the purpose, and that's not what I really want for my life.
And I think one of the challenges a lot of persons have, more so maybe the younger generation growing up, we are now so concerned about doing it for the likes and making sure that there is a representation publicly. But then behind closed doors, as you say, a lot of persons are unhappy. But once you know your value, you know your worth, and you set the standard, you set the bar, then you're able to walk in your truth.
Yes, it doesn't matter what that person drives. If I'm just doing it, like you said, for the like, right, for the clout, When you get behind closed doors, if you only in public doing what you do for clout, when you get behind closed doors, you're a miserable person.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
don't believe in living my life that way. I don't ever want to be worried about the person I choose, what they're doing when I'm not around.
Yeah.
The same person you are to my face, be that person when I'm not around.
Exactly.
Because that's the respect that I will give you as a man. And so once you accept you and you know who you are, for me, I ain't compromising for anybody. I'm not compromising
Yeah.
me for anybody.
Exactly.
I'll be okay. Will they be okay? I don't think so.
So, that is in regards to love and relationship. Was it difficult for you being a female leader in the army as well and having to have men take orders from you or be guided by you? How was that?
You know, so when I was the first on at the NCR Academy in Germany, the same school that I went to train to become a sergeant, I was the first female first sergeant of that NCR Academy. When I walk into my company, it was all males.
Yeah.
I'm medical. I'm a combat medic. And I'm moving into an environment with infantry guys, with tankers, with scouts, different MOSs. It was, to be honest, internally, I wobbled a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because now I have to find my footing. It is not my vibe. It is not where I'm comfortable at. But I think over time, when you treat people with respect and they know the vision and they understand the why you were there, you will get the buy-in. And every one of them will walk the same walk and talk the same talk to make the organization successful.
Right.
So I don't believe in my leadership roles, no matter where I am. Like I said earlier, you're appointed, not anointed. If I had to tell you that I'm in charge, then I'm really not in charge, right?
That's it.
Okay? And so when I'm in those roles, I always try to get the buy-in from my people. How can we do this better? How could we make the organization better? Because it's not about you, there's no I in teamwork.
Yeah.
It's about the organization and it's about your people. And if your people are happy and you value your people, then your people will go above and beyond and
Yeah.
do the job that needs to get done. So
I
that's,
like
that's
that
the beauty about it.
because so often we have this idea, a misrepresentation of what leadership is. That people think leadership is about being a dictator, being always the one to order you around and not look at the human element. But a leader is actually someone who nurtures and helps to grow and help the other person to develop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that. That's a very good approach.
I have this concept that I always say, and we hear it all the time, right? I remember seeing it so many times. You teach a man to fish, you feed him for life.
Yeah.
You give them a
Yeah.
fish, you just feed them for
For
that
now.
day.
Yeah.
Never as a leader do you want to hold anyone hostage because you in that leadership role, right? You want to grow your people because when you leave, it's about being that leader of presence, that
Yeah.
leader of influence, how far you extend that influence down into your organization. And so whatever leadership role you're in, it's how you get that buy-in from your people. And as that leader, are you able to explain that why? Why are we doing the things that we're doing? Why is the organization this way? Why do I need you to be part of this
Yeah.
team? It's teamwork that makes things work. And so your picture is already on the wall as that leader. I don't need to walk in and say, I'm in charge. Get with the program. We can sit down and have a conversation. And when you take that rank off and people see you are a human being, because sometimes it can be so intimidating to the junior soldiers, is that when they see that, they have this saying, oh, she's cool,
Yeah.
okay? But I will hold you to the standard though.
Yeah.
But as long as they see that you have that human element and human aspect of you, then it's easy to get along
Yeah.
with everyone.
So even as we wrap up soon, one of the things that I always look for would be when persons make it, as we say, make it big, and you still have that level of thought that you recognize where you're coming from and you reach back to assist others. And I was listening recently when we celebrated your honor of being sergeant major and where you're heading next. That person spoke so highly of the fact that you are someone who look back to towards the youths and to guide and I think your sister is also in the army at present.
She is.
And I must commend you for that. How important do you think it is as nation builders, be it here in St. Vincent or wherever in the diaspora or wherever in the world we are, to always look back towards our fellow nation citizens to help them move along?
For me, let's start with my sister, right? That's family. I always believe in being a positive role model for her, something for her to mirror. Not the same exact roads and or paths that I choose to take, but whatever her future leads her, let it be something positive and productive. And so I always try to be that person. As a female leader in the military, and it doesn't matter, as a leader in general, you have to lead by example.
Yeah.
Be that role model. Because you don't want to be that person that, who is that? Why are they in that position, right? And so all eyes on you when you're in those leadership roles. But for me, what I'll say, as we said, reach back home to where I was born, is that there's so many young people who parents.
Power of perseverance. I like that.
Because you will meet some stumbling blocks. You might hear the words, you're not good enough, you will never get there, you will never amount to. But those words are not true. I say use those words as your stepping stone to get to where you need to get to. And you keep pushing. And when you are given an opportunity to excel, you take that opportunity. The road is not going to be wide and clear where you say, oh, just grab it. It's a fight and it's a struggle. But you just persevere. Persevere, dream big, believe in yourself, and find you a mentor.
Yes.
That's
yes,
one of the biggest
yes.
things you can ever do.
Mentorship is very important, but one of the issues I think with mentorship or persons understanding the benefit of mentorship is that people generally don't like feedback. They see any sort of feedback, especially if they deem it to be negative, as being critical, being judgmental, and rather than accepting, we often have the fight towards now everybody's in their feelings and they take it in the wrong way. How have you dealt with, because I believe over the years you would have had your own feedback or
Yeah.
critiques or whatever. How did you deal with those?
So I'm not perfect. Did I like them all? No,
Oh,
I
no.
did not. But over time, I think with maturity and growth, you see how some of those critiques can be beneficial. So we use this saying, you know, you tear somebody down, but you have to build that person back up,
Back
right?
up, yes.
So you tell that person what are some of the ways they're going wrong. But you as that person who are receiving that critique got to be able to take that critique and work on some of those shortcomings.
Right, yeah.
And then you build that person back up with some positive skill sets that they can get to the goal that they're trying to achieve. So never, you know, we see it on TV, you start off here as a private and then over here you're that sergeant major, right? That's not how it happens, right? It's not CIS where you see it happen in CIS where you see it happen on TV that way. It's a work in progress. No matter what you do in life, you're going to face challenges. You're going to face critique. Even in school, you get critique, right?
Yeah,
Where you get
yeah.
those X's and they're all gold stars. But you got to take those little nuggets that are thrown at you and you put them into your kit bag.
Yes.
And you carry that kit bag with you and you keep building. And the stuff that weighs it down, you throw it out. And the stuff that makes it lighter, you put it in. So you just keep emptying and putting back in.
refilling, yes.
Emptying and putting it back in. And then you start finding yourself in the person that you're becoming. That's when you know you're there.
Yeah.
And so just because all of us might not have the same career path doesn't make you not successful. It's just that each of our lives takes a different journey.
Yeah.
And some of us the road are longer, some of us is shorter, but you will get there. It's a marathon,
Yeah.
not a
That oh, Girl, say that again.
It's a
Scripture that I really like is despise not the day of small beginnings. You have to start somewhere,
Somewhere.
and you have to know how to build on that. And Charlotte, I am so, so proud of you. I am inspired, I'm encouraged by your journey. And, we would want to know what's next for you. What should we expect to see? What does the next 5 years look like for you? If you have a plan or you're seeing it already?
I won't really say I have a plan. I hate planning, right? Because when I plan, something always happens that obstructs it. Something is trying to let me not be great, but I'm going to be great no matter what, right? That's just a saying. But I see myself moving towards being a better person overall. You have to be a better you before you can be a better leader
Yeah.
and a better person for somebody else. And as I work through whatever shortcomings I have, and as I learn to balance my career with my personal life, whatever that might look like in the future, I hope that whoever God placed in my life has the same values that I have.
Yes.
That they put God first also, and that no matter how further along in my career that I might be than someone else, that you accept me for who I am.
Yeah.
Because I will never treat you differently because of who you are and where you are in life. And so in the next few years, I think I'm looking short term is for me to just complete my PhD
Oh, yes.
in health sciences that I'm working towards. Go off to my job in Italy at Southern European Task Force Army Africa and be the best surgeon directorate NCO non-commissioned officer in charge that I can be, because the work that I'll be doing and how what we bring in can benefit the nation healthcare wise. So I'm hoping for better things and bigger things, and that God just continue to bless me in my winning season.
Wow, your winning season. I need to attach to that winning season. And the thing about it is that there's a humility that comes from you that I love. And, I wish you all God's blessings as you continue to make that one step and keep moving forward and persevere, as you said. So, guys, you have heard the inspirational story. You have, for those of you who know Shanette personally, you have seen her grow. You have seen and understand that, as she rightly said, it wasn't overnight. It wasn't 1, 2, 3. There were a lot of different curveballs. There are a lot of different situations that she had to overcome. But being determined and understanding that with your faith and belief in yourself and believe in God, you can make it and you can overcome. So we say thank you again for being a part of this One Step podcast episode, and we look forward to our next feature in another few weeks. Okay, so stay tuned. We are on the Value Experience YouTube channel, so if you missed the live, then you can always see the replay on the Valeo Experience YouTube channel and the Facebook page. We are also on Go Loud Digicel platform as well. And again, thanks to the Sunset Shores Beach Hotel for the lovely ambience, and for all of our other sponsors. We thank you for making this a possibility. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Are you ready to create your bounce back effect? Are you tired of the chains holding you down? Are you ready to go to your next level? Join me, Dr. Arusha Campbell Chambers, at the Unstuck Conference on Saturday, August 12th at Sunset Shores Hotel. I will be speaking to you about being made for more. You are made in God's image and likeness. You are made to dominate over your circumstances. See you there. Don't miss it.
At the Vallejo Experience, your total wellness is our concern. We offer professional counseling for a variety of life's personal and corporate challenges, including grief, bereavement, and post-traumatic stress. Our corporate packages also include competitive coping strategies, individual and group dynamics, professional development, and retreats. Perhaps you just need a wellness assessment or some help understanding who you are to restore your emotional balance. Whatever your emotional needs, remember,
As you navigate your path through life, all that is required is that you take one step at a time. Though hard it may be at times, each day, be committed to show up strong. Some days your strength can look different to other days. Just know this, that whenever you're at your worst, try to look your best. Dress up and face the world. That's the first step towards moving forward. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one simple step. Lao Tzu.